So here we go. We're going to jump in. I want you guys to think back to when you were little kids, okay? Whatever age you are now, think back to little kids. So this is going to be my first experience and my first story to you guys. So let's do this. When you were a little kid, did you ever think that there was anything else around you? Such as a ghost or an entity or anything that you just didn't know. Most of us had imaginary friends. Personally, I did not have an imaginary friend, but let me explain my experience to you, and then we're going to go back to what you may have witnessed or understood or knew actually what was happening around you. So I'm going to go way, way back. I was probably about 4 or 5 years old, and I remember sitting in a bathtub. And my mom and dad weren't around, and I was just kind of playing with a little sailboat. I can picture it. And I remembered hearing voices. I remembered hearing things around me speaking, but speaking in a different language or a different tongue. Again, I was very young. I didn't understand. So at the same time, I also had a feeling that there was other beings or other people or other entities around me. Now, being 4, 5, 6 years old, it's not something that you would try to even explain to your mom or your dad because, again, most of us had imaginary friends. I didn't have an imaginary friend that I talked to. I didn't sit up in my crib and pretend to talk to a monkey or a doll or anything along that line. I just always had this feeling that there were other things around me. I didn't grow up in a very religious family. I didn't practice religion at that time, nor do I now. And being that that young, I don't ever remember seeing or experiencing anything that a 4, 5, 6-year-old would even think would be paranormal. So paranormal didn't exist at that age for a child. What did exist was the innocence of being a child and understanding that we weren't alone. We didn't have distractions as adults as I do now as an adult. Now I have so many distractions that those voices or those entities or beings or whatever is around me at this current time are also around you as well. It's just we can't see them. We can't focus on them because we are so distracted in our heads that it's not possible. There are people that do sit, study, do a lot of meditation, but I'm 24/7 on the go. My mind cannot stop for a second to even acknowledge that there would be something around me. The only way I acknowledge things like that is through a knocking or a door slowly creaking shut or footsteps coming down the hallway at 3 o'clock in the morning when my sensor lights are going off, or an orb that you see in another video that I have that just pops up the driveway and changes my electrical components. But that is my first experience with all of this because I can still remember and I can still see the day, the boat, the tub, and the experience I had of the feeling I had that there were other entities, other beings, other things that were talking or were with me or were protecting me or just there. I don't even want to go on the protection thing because it makes it sound like, oh, they're angels, they're demons, they're this, they're that. We don't know. So people that term them as demons or angels, it's not possible because we really don't know what angels or demons are because we've created them. We've created that rabbit hole for all of us to understand that, okay, the angels come to help me, but we don't know. That's the whole premise of all of this, is all the experiences I had for 30 years. And again, completely myself and original and authentic. I don't know what these things are, what they are, as I termed in my first intro video. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're angelic beings or demonic beings or things that just want to study us or are curious about us, or possibly we could have this all wrong. So I want you to think back. Like, if you're 20 years old right now, think back to when you were like 5 or 6. And if you had that imaginary friend, think back 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years when you were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know it's very hard for us to do because we are adults now. And even in your 20s, you are distracted. I'm sorry, you don't start to get, especially in today's world, you are so distracted from anything that can help it go into your consciousness and actually work with you and try to figure out what is around us. I know it sounds gibberish and like so often like rabbit hole-ish, but there are many things to this day like that are around us. Like, sit down one day and if a book just all of a sudden just drops or falls, is it coincidence, or was there something there that pushed it or just moved it? There are doorways that we do not understand that are around us at all times. This is why I get back into the whole infrared theory, because we don't see on that spectrum, but we have ways to change our cameras and mod out cameras to see things that are in different spectrums. Your TV remote, which I have right here, my Amazon TV remote turns my television on, but I can't see the beam go from here to my TV. It doesn't make sense. On that wavelength, our eyes can't grasp that concept and see that spectrum of light. So if there's anything, a ghost, an alien, a UFO, or anything that's in this spectrum, we can't see it, but we can mod out our equipment to see it. And later on down the road, I will show you those videos and I will show you those pictures of infrared that I've taken that have specific objects that were not there when I took the picture, but they did show up on the infrared film. So with that, I know I'm going a little deeper. What I want you to do is I want you to just think back in the comments, throw out whether or not you had an imaginary friend and you still talk to that imaginary friend, or you felt like there was something else around you that was either trying to communicate with you or was just there. You would know the feeling. You know the feeling when somebody is next to you, behind you, or in front of you. You know the feeling, we all do. So I want you to just think about that. And please leave it in the comments because I would love to hear about it, because I experienced it. That is experience number 1, because that was when I started, when I was so young. If you go back and you look at my pictures and my photographs, you will see that there are other things around me at that current time. So please leave it in the comments. Like, subscribe, do whatever you have to. But I will be here to talk to you about these experiences. Thank you, and I'll see you guys soon.